All right. I guess it came to this again, man.
It has come to this once again.
Hopefully, I do better this time. Yeah. So, you ready for another round of Discography Draft?
You bet.
And welcome back, everybody, to the best music podcast on all sides of planet Earth. And the way that we measure that is we go from Ukraine to Uganda, but we take the long way around. This podcast is called Hey, Listen to This. And it is hosted by two dashingly good looking men who share the same middle name. I'm the one. I'm the only. I'm the one who's seeking redemption in this episode, Ryan James Kearns.
And I am the one, the only, the holder of the crown, Matthew James Durzik. And this is another discography draft. So I'll start by saying if you're hearing this, that means for one reason or another, we can't get out the regular episode as we had intended, but we're not going to leave you completely in the dark. As far as what a discography draft is, Ryan, I'll throw that over to you.
So, a discography draft is like, for those of you who play fantasy sports, me and Matt do, we essentially take an artist or band's discography and, take turns picking albums from that discography to be part of our fantasy team. And the way that we determine the winner is that at the end of the draft, we go to allmusic.com and we look up every single rating on AllMusic's side of things. And, they give a rating system 1 to 5 stars. And basically, we see who has the more highly rated team. And, the last time out we did the discography draft, we took a little bit of a left turn because we didn't do off of a specific artist, but we did off of the albums that have won Grammy of the Year. And yeah, Matt, you beat me that time, like many other times within this little brainchild of mine.
I did, but at the same time, it came at the cost of realizing that the general public was still relatively frustrated with Tony Bennett giving that 2 stars out of 5. I'm still mad about that. But I'll take the victory in earnest anyway. So, as is the rules, since I won, I get to choose who we're covering this week. And you get to pick first in this discography draft. So, it being June 1st, and it being the start of, our next DEI initiative, as you've been calling them, Ryan, I do suggest that we cover one of the most legendary acts in the history of pop music and try to sift through his 32 studio albums, and that is one Sir Elton John. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Sir Elton John is, I got nothing for you. Because how do you not? But respectfully, this man is responsible for basically being the sound of the 70s for a good chunk of the American audience. Like, he had several number one hits, he had several major albums. And basically, he was the biggest star on Earth, probably for what people consider like the early AM pre-disco 70s. Like, Elton John was probably one of, if not the top rock stars of that era. Fell out of favor a little bit in the late 70s when disco came aboard. Had a bit of a comeback in the 80s with a few pop singles here and there. Was a reliable singles artist for the most part. Then, of course, in the 90s, he became known for his work writing music for films, particularly The Lion King, which is one of the best children's movies of all time. Had one of the biggest hits of all time later in that year with a reworking of Candle in the Wind, and has pretty much become an elder statesman of pop, ever since then, including this year where he helped one Chapel Roan, who we discussed a few weeks ago, uh, pop into the top 10 when he sang along with Pink Pony Club after her performance at the Grammys. And that song eventually hit the top 5 years after it was released. So Elton John's mark in music history is still being written to this day.
Absolutely. So considering that he has 32 studio albums to his name, are we gonna go with the usual, like we each pick like 10 or 12 and call it a day, or are we gonna go through every single album?
I say we cut it off at 10 because
Okay.
there's so many in there, and I think it's I like a flat 10 this one. I think 10 will get us to where we need to go because that's still 20 albums, so still very much a lot. And again, these are just the studio albums. We're not counting live albums or greatest hits packages. These are just studio albums. So not only does he have a big, reach, but he also has a lot of it too.
All right, sounds good, man. All right, so I got the Google Doc up right now, and I got us queued up for 10. Albums each. So I think we're ready to get at her, man. So if you are ready.
I am.
All right, so with the very first selection in the Elton John discography draft, I'm going to go with his 1983 release, Too Low for Zero. The big single off of that was I'm Still Standing. So, yeah, a Too Low for Zero will be my first selection.
I absolutely respect that. I almost considered that one for a top pick as well, but I'm not going to, obviously, since you did. I'm going to go with the basic pick for my number one, which is his 1973 release, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Okay. And for me, the next release that I am gonna, draft in my team, it's gonna, I can go one of two directions here, but I'm gonna go the safer of the two, directions. I'm gonna go with his 1972 release, Hunky Chateau.
Good selection. Good selection. I'm going to stick in the 70s as well for my next pick. I'm going to go to 1975 with his album Rock of the Westies.
Rock of the Westies. All right. Rock of the Westies. All right. And then I'm going to actually stay in the 70s as well, man. I'm going to go with his 1971 release, Madman Across the Water.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to go with a safe bet here. I'm going to stick not just in the 70s, but in 1975. I'm going to go with Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy.
Okay. And for me, I'm gonna get out of the 70s because I feel like we've been stuck in the 70s, and I'm gonna go actually in the 80s and go with the album Sleeping with the Past, released in 1989.
All right. I'm going to join you in the 1980s. I'm going to go with his 1980 release, 21 at 33.
Okay. And let me take a look here. All right, and I'm going to stick in the 80s as well, keeping up the theme that we got going on here. I'm going to go with his 1985 release, Ice on Fire.
Okay. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. I am going to go for my next pick to 2010, which was a collaborative studio album that he did with Leon Russell titled The Union.
The Union, all right. And for me, a couple different directions that I can go here. But ultimately, I am gonna go with. Sorry, just, doing a couple different things. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit of a wild card. Um, I'm gonna take a page out of your book and go into the collaborative studio albums. And with his 2021 release, the Lockdown Sessions.
I was considering the Lockdown Sessions. I was considering that as a future pick, but I appreciate you jumping on that because I'm curious to see what that album's going to get. For me, I'm going to go back to the 80s for my next pick, and I'm going to go with 1984's Breaking Hearts.
Okay, and for my next selection here, um, hmm, let's see here. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm gonna go with the 1973 release, which is "Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player."
All right. All right. Solid choice. I'm going to head back to the 70s as well. In fact, I'm going to go with his self titled release from 1970. Elton.
All right, we each have three selections left. So for me, my next selection is gonna be, man, there's a it's getting down to slim pickings here, but I'm gonna go with his 1982 release, "Jump Up."
All right. I'm going to take a gamble here because I don't think either of us have gone to the 90s yet. I will be the first to do that. I'm going to go with his 1995 release, Made in England.
Two more selections each, and for me, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick me. I'm gonna go again in the 80s. I'm gonna go with his 1988 release, "Reg Strikes Back."
Okay. I am going to go with. Huh. I didn't even realize Was it released already? It was. Okay. I'm going to go with another collaborative album, his most recent release, in fact, which is his 2025 release with Brandi Carlile entitled "Who Believes in Angels."
All right, one selection each left, man. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So for my last selection, I'm gonna go with the. Taking a look here. Taking a look. You know what? I'm feeling funky. I'm gonna complete. Well, not complete, but take another album out of the collaborative studio albums. Crop there. I'm gonna go with his 1993 album, "Duets."
Okay. I am not going to be as adventurous. I am going back to the 70s for my final pick, and that is 1974's Caribou.
Caribou. All right, cool. How we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good about my selections. I thought you made some solid ones too, and from what I know vaguely about his discography, I think we avoided all the crap. Because neither of us picked Blue Moves or Victim of Love, so I think we should be all right, but we'll see.
All right, cool. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's go back into the meeting call here, and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, cool. All right, so like we've done with a couple of these discography drafts so far, we are gonna be going in reverse order. So in terms of like we're going the rankings here, and this is just for a reference point for me. So the first album that we're going to be seeing what the score is going to be "Caribou," released in 1974. What are you starting out with? You are starting out with a 3.5 out of 5.
All right.
But pretty solid, all things considered. And then the next album that we're going to be looking up the score for was my last selection. That's Duets. This one was, I think, might have been a little bit of a risk, but we'll see. Okay, and starting out with a 3 out of 5. I don't want to cry quite yet, so
It's not bad. Three's not bad.
Yeah. All right. So the next album was your selection, "Who Believes in Angels" by Brandi Carlile and Elton John. Okay, collab album. Shout out to Brandi Carlile. I hope you're doing okay. And that got another 3.5 for you, my dude.
Not bad, not bad.
All right. And the next album in my camp was Reg Strikes Back. And that got me a 2. I'm gonna start limping here. I hope I start to pick up some steam, or it's gonna be like same old song and dance with this concept here. All right. Next album is Made in England, and I got you a 3. Okay. And for me, my next album is Jump Up, and that got me 3 as well. Okay. So match you tit for tit there. So there we go. All right. Next album is the self-titled release, and that got you a 4.5. Okay. All right. Needless to say, I'm gonna need some firepower here soon, and hopefully, don't shoot me. I'm only the piano player. Hooks me up with that. All right. Let's see. 4 out of 5. Okay. Not as quite as spicy, but definitely you're still in the lead. I'm not even doing the mental math right now. I just know it. All right. Is Breaking Hearts. And that was your selection. And that got you a 3 out of 5. No real 5 so far, man.
No, but I think those are coming, hopefully.
All right, so the Lockdown Sessions was my next, pick, and that got a 3 out of 5. Okay, so we're squared up on that. All right,
I was gonna say I've listened to that album, and that qualifies as a 3 out of 5 album. There's some good tracks on there. There's some okay, but most of them are okay-ish, and then there's a couple that are just like he covers "Nothing Else Matters" with Yo-Yo Ma and Miley Cyrus, and it sounds about as weird and off-putting as you would think.
All right, so the next album is The Union, and that was your selection, and that got you a 3.5 out of 5.
Because I remember
3.5, not 3.4.
I remember. I want to say that was considered I think Rolling Stone named it the number 3 album, or in their top 5 for the entire year of 2010. So that's a little surprising.
Yeah, shout out to Rolling Stone, man. So the next album from my camp was Ice on Fire, and 2.5. All right, man, I'm not feeling so good, Mr. Stark. All right. So 21 at 33 was your next selection. And that got you a 3 out of 5. So many 3 out of 5s, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
My next selection was Sleeping with the Past. And let's see what that got me. Hopefully it's... Oh, we'll see what it awards. A 2. Oh my god. Oh man. That's a top 4 pick for me, man. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. All right. So the next album that we're going to be talking about is Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. And that came out of your camp. And let's see. That is the first 5. There we go.
First 5.
All right. I'm not feeling good, man. Oh, man. I need like straight 5s to at least have a chance. But,
We'll see.
I'm a good sport. I'm a good sport about this, so we'll see what happens. All right, so the next one is Madman Across the Water. And let's see. Got a 4.5. Okay, so my highest rated album so far. So not a 5, but I'll take it. All right. So the next album that we're going to be talking about is Rock of the Westies. And that came out of your camp. Let's see. They got you a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. All right. I think I may have just exposed some light in into your cave there, because I thought that was gonna be higher. I legit thought that was gonna be higher.
All right. So Hunky Chateau is the next one. Elton John, and it was my second pick, and let's see what that got me. That got me my first 5. Yeah, here we go. Comeback begins now.
We're 1 round to go.
All right. And your first selection, and the final album that we're going to be looking up the score out of your camp was Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And let's see here. 4.5 out of 5.
Not a 5. Wow.
Not a 5.
Wow. Okay.
All right. And for me, my last selection was Too Low for Zero. And let's see.
Wow.
And that got a 4.5 out of 5 as well. All right. So I think you may have won. So I'm going to reveal my score here first. So my low points were Reg Strikes Back and Sleeping with the Past. They both got 2s. And my highlights were, well, my only highest score was Hunky Chateau. That was my only 5. And that gave me a collective score 33.5 for my whole team. And for you, your lowest scores came at 3s, which you had 3 of them, which were Made in England, Breaking Hearts, and 21 and 33. And then your highlight was Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. And let's see how much you beat me by. Oh, okay. You got a 37 compared to my 33.5. So not as bad of a spanking as I thought, but still, like, regardless, I gave you your flowers. You're quite dominant at this game.
Yes, that's 2 in a row for me. There were some surprises in there, though. I'm shocked that either of us had only 1 5 and it wasn't the top pick. Like, that's shocking.
Yeah. Well, well, hopefully this encourages people to check out, Elton's, discography. I know I will be diving into it as well. So, yeah. Any other notes before we kick this episode into bed here?
No, it's just fun doing it once again with you, and give you all the points in the world for making it close at the end there, because there were a minute. Hold on. Yeah, I think this proves in a sense too, like, as Elton John had some good albums, but I think he's primarily known as a singles artist, and I think that is kind of reflected in this, but that could be another discussion for another day. But for now, I think we could put a wrap on this discography draft.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this episode of Hey, Listen to This. And goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.